right? Yeah, good. Okay, so we're going to do investments, right? So what you got to do is you've got to figure out how long you are going to hold the investment in the other company. And what do you, by the way, what do you invest in the other company? You are buying their what? Their stock. It'll be common stock or preferred stock or, either one, right? And you might also be investing in their bonds, right? You might be investing in their debt, right? So, this is the other side of the deal. Do you guys already know how to do held to maturity bonds? Oh man, do you? Okay, you got that, don't you? That's if you're going to hold them for the full term. If you're going to hold them for less time, you handle them just like you would stock. Everybody got it? So you got held to maturity, you're going to hold them forever. If you're going to hold stock forever, it's still just an investment stock. Okay? So, one decision you got to make is how long you are going to hold the investment. There are 3 different possible time periods, okay, that you might hold the investment, and that'll change the way you account for it. Everybody got that? The other decision you're going to have to make is what percentage of the company you own, because the percentage of the company you own determines how much control you have over the other company. But what do you think if you own more than 50% of the stock? When you vote and you own more than 50% of the votes, what happens? You win, you get what you want. Who's in charge? You effectively own that other company. Okay? Got it? What if I only own 1 share and there are a million of them? I don't think I have any control. Everybody got the idea? But what if I own a lot of shares but not 50%, someplace in between? So more than 50% control, right? Small number, no control. What's the range, though, where you might have what's called significant influence? Who read this chapter? What might that range be? Between 20 and 50, yeah. Less than 50, right? Up to 50. You're exactly right. Between 20, more than 20, less than 50. Now, if you own 20% and somebody else owns 80, you don't have any control. Got the idea? If I own 30%, somebody else owns 70, I have no control. But if I own 20% or more of most companies, 20% up to 50%, I bet you I'm on the board of directors, right? If you own that much of young brands, you're on the board, trust me, right? You're powerful, okay? So most likely you are, at least, okay? So you have significant influence, you'd say. Got the idea? Well, you can't have control unless you have at least 50%, so that one's pretty easy. Significant influence then between about 20, but it's a judgment call, about 20 and about 50. When I give you quiz questions and test questions, final questions, I'll make it 30 or 40%. What's that going to be? Significant influence. Or I'll make it 10% or 5%. What's that going to be? None. No control. Or I'll make it 80% or 100%. What do you think? Control, and that's going to be called a subsidiary, by the way. Okay? All right? So those are the amounts of control. So one way of looking at this is you've got no control, which is no contron. What's that? No control. That's one category, okay? And then we have significant influence. And then we have control, okay? What percentage ownership did we say? 1 share. Oh, by the way, if you have investments in bonds, you have no control. Everybody agree? So they're going to be in the no control category too, right? 1 share up to what? About 20%, okay? Significant influence? And I mean 20% of what, by the way? What am I talking about here? Stock. Which stock? Common, that votes. And preferred stock, you're going to have no control. Got the idea? Unless it's voting, and then we'll not worry about that, okay? Because you would have some. Okay. So, preferred stock and bonds will be no control. Everybody got the idea? But which stock? Which common stock? Authorized, issued, or outstanding? Come on. Which one's both? Remember, the treasury stock you buy back is the difference between issued and outstanding. You guys got so close, right? It's got to be the what? Which one's both, the outstanding or the issued? The outstanding. Because the company's holding, right, the treasury stock. So you're close. Okay, yeah, it'd be the outstanding shares, wouldn't it? Percent of outstanding shares. There might not be any treasury stock, and then it'd be issued and outstanding would be the same thing, right? You guys are learning to talk this way, aren't you? You know this stuff. And you might think, oh, geez, I'm learning this for this class. You probably do, because you're 18 years old, 19, 20. You might think, oh, geez, I'm older. You're over 20. Oh, 18, you're 18. Okay. You don't want to go old ones. Okay. Pick it up. You just look old. Okay. Anyway, that's cool. So, you know what? I always looked old too, and I really liked it when I was 19 and I could go to bars. Right? Yeah, it was really great. But you know when I got to be about 30 and everybody thought I was 40, it wasn't so hot. When I was dating my wife now, who was 21 and I was 31, yeah, 32 for a while, and she was 31 or 21. Yeah, that was terrible. Anyway, now it doesn't seem so bad. But she's still young and cute. But anyway, when I was dating her, she was renting this apartment, and I wrote a check and gave it to this guy, to help her out. So the deposit, she paid it back. Okay. But I wrote this check and gave it to the guy, and he says, God, I wish my dad would pay my rent for me. and my daughter, who was 3 then, she's really my stepdaughter. She's my daughter, Michelle. She had been around since she was 3. Anyway, she's 3 years old, and she started calling me grandpa. She was always a smart ass, and she still is, so, yeah, my grandpa, geez. Yeah, anyway, that was funny. The guy was a little embarrassed, but yeah, I thought it was funny too. Okay, so 20, so it's not good to look old later, huh? But you know what, when you go out there in the profession and you're working and everybody thinks you're older than you are, that's good. Right, it's all right. So you baby faces, yeah, you get to be young looking all your life, but yeah, okay, anyway, whatever. So I'm really 35. This is stressful hanging out with you guys. Okay, anyway, so significant influence goes up to what? Up to 50%, less than. Everybody agree? A little bit less than 50%. Obviously 50%, you're right on the line. So over 50% up to 100%. We'd call it a subsidiary. It's a subsidiary to the parent. So it's a parent-subsidiary relationship. The company that owns it is a parent. Got it? The company that's owned is a subsidiary, subset of the parent. You like it? So now you know what a subsidiary is. So when you look at a financial statement for any major corporation, it always says the company name and subsidiaries. What does that mean? They combine the parent's records, assets, liabilities, equities, revenues, expenses, with the subsidiaries. When I was first working in public accounting, I was with Arthur Anderson. I transferred to the San Jose office because things were going crazy there and we could get advancement fast. And it was something. Silicon Valley, right? And things were just really firing up. Anyway, I went down there and I got to work on the Memorex side. You know who Memorex is, right? Okay, stuff used to be cassette tapes and reel-to-reel and stuff, but they're still in business, making a lot of stuff. But anyway, Memorex had, I don't know, it was 250 subsidiaries or something. And I got to work on the consolidation with the manager in the first year that I was working in public accounting. It was really cool. It was amazing, but just all kinds of stuff. So anyway, parent, I learned a lot. Parent-subsidiary relationships, okay? Might own a lot of companies. Think how many companies somebody like General Motors owns, right? Wow, it's huge. So we put them all together into one financial statement because they have control, right? It's control. They control it. They make all the decisions. Everybody got it? Makes sense, doesn't it? Okay? With significant influence, we are going to call them affiliates. They're affiliated companies. Okay? They're going to be affiliates. Because I have significant influence, I am helping run the company. Does that make sense? Okay? And we're going to account for things differently because of that in each of these cases. All right? Here we're going to consolidate, I said. Okay? Which just means combine them, put them all together, consolidate things. You guys know what consolidate means anyway, right? That's what consolidate means. Okay? And then affiliates, what we're going to do is we are going to use what's called the equity method of accounting. So you can see seems like it's getting complicated, and I guess in a way it is. We're going to use the equity method of accounting, okay? Because I have an equity interest where I get to help run the company. Like it? Okay, this makes sense. Okay, if it's no control, I'm going to use what's called, I have no control, right? I'm going to call these first either trading securities. That's where I own less than 20%, right? I'm going to call them trading securities, or it's a bond or something, right? Preferred stock. I'm going to call them trading securities, or I'm going to call them available for sale, short-term, or I'm going to call them available for sale long-term. And oh my, we got 3 different categories. AFS is fine. Long-term. What do you think the difference is between short-term and long-term? Come on, you guys. Short-term and long-term on an asset. What do you think it is? Yeah, long-term. More than a year, arbitrary itself, right? But that's what it is. So short-term's less than a year, long-term's more than a year. So if I have less than 20% of the stock, or it's preferred stock or a bond, and I'm not going to hold the bond forever, right? If I'm holding the bond forever, what is it? For the full term of the bond, what is it? Held to maturity. You already know that. So I'm going to hold it for less than forever, but if I'm going to hold it for more than a year, it's what? Long-term. Preferred stock, common stock, and bonds. Got it? If I'm going to hold it for less than a year, it's short-term, unless I'm only going to hold it for maybe a few weeks. A few days to a few weeks. And then we call it trading securities, okay? So trading securities are very, very short-term. Got the idea? Short-term is longer than a few weeks, up to a year. So what you have to do is you have to decide how much ownership you have, therefore how much control you have. Got the idea? And then after you do that, if it's no control, you decide whether you're going to hold it for a very short period of time. This would be up to a few weeks. There's not really a hard and fast rule on that. The company just decides what they think a trading security is. By the way, most companies don't own trading securities. You know how they can avoid having trading securities? They say they're going to just hold it more than a few weeks. Nobody knows how long you're going to hold it anyway. You probably don't either. But if you're buying and selling them constantly, you're just parking money for a little while, you're buying them and you're selling, you're buying and selling, then you call them trading securities. Does that make sense? If you make an investment, you don't know how long it's going to go for, it's probably going to be available for short-term or long-term. Just based on what your intention is. Everybody got the idea of how to do that then? And we're going to account for each of them a little differently, or maybe a lot. Okay? So let's give this a shot, huh? Everybody good? You got the idea what we're doing here? Okay, so if I did this, let's try this. It might work, huh? Can you still see that at all? Give me another one. Please give me another one. I have a dual page display and it won't give me another page. For God's sakes. Now there's nothing on that page. Try it again. Now it killed what I had. You have to be on it to make it. Do you really? You're guessing? Or you know? Where did it go? Let's try this. It deleted the thing. I didn't hit delete, did I? This worked before. We've used it before in here too, haven't we? Oh, good. That's really kind of 1 through 9. What the heck is that? Now, how do I get back there? That's going to give me a new one, isn't it? That worked really good. Oh, lovely. All right. Fine. Give me something to talk about when I'm down in Florida, how wonderful the technology is to use. What I need is somebody sitting in here, that runs the technology so I can teach. And then they could videotape us. And, you could stand up and ask questions. Yeah, never mind. Okay. Not interested. Oh, good. Now we don't have that anymore either. You hear somebody talking.
I probably just did that, huh? I suppose. It's magic, there it goes. All right, here we go. What's that?
Happy Halloween.
Yeah, what? Yeah. Was it your class where I had the thing turned on? I was doing a review session. It was when we were down in room 360. Was anybody there when it started? It was me. They're probably upstairs listening to it. Yeah, oh well. Okay, here we go again. Let's do first, you've got them written down in front of you, right? So look at that. Okay, so let's do first the group that is trading securities, okay? Trading securities available for sale short term and available for sale long term. Okay, again, what percentage ownership do you have here, you guys?
1 share.
Up to about 20%. Everybody agree? How much control do you have? No control. So I am going to use a method called the market value method for this. I don't know if I wrote that down before. The market value method. And what this means is I'm going to adjust the value of the stock when I do a financial statement, or the bonds, whatever it is. I'm going to adjust it from the cost I purchased it at to the market value at the end of the year. We are going to show them at the market value, okay? And that will give me a gain or loss, gain if the market value went up, loss if the market value goes down. And the reason I'm going to be willing to do this, if you own a publicly traded company, you know what the market value is. If you guys have investments in Young Brand right now, you could look up right now, well, half an hour ago, right, on Yahoo Finance, you could look up, or MS Finance, what it sold for a half hour ago. If you want to know what it's selling for right now, you have to pay money to get that information, right? If you're going to be trading, right? But if you want to know what's half an hour ago, that's public information. It's just out there for everybody on the internet. It's all also published in the Wall Street Journal and stuff. Okay? You got the idea? So you can find out at the end of the year what the stock was selling for, so you know what it's worth. So we don't use historical cost for this. We use market value because we know what the market value is. You got the idea? Now, on the other ones where we have significant influence, we're going to use the equity method, we don't really care what the market value is at any particular point in time because what's the deal? We're not going to sell it, right? If you own 40% of a company, you better not sell it all. What's going to happen to the stock price if you decide to sell 40% of the company right now? Bottom's going to fall out, right? So your intent is to hold it. You have your ownership for a different reason. What if you own more than 50%?
You have no reason to sell it.
You're not going to sell it. Yeah, you bought it to control it, right? Maybe they're your supplier, maybe they're a customer of yours, maybe they used to be a competitor and you bought them so they don't compete with you anymore. You have the idea, right? As you grow, right? Big companies take over other companies all the time. Mergers and acquisitions, we call it. Right, guys? Okay. There are only, you know what's really fun is there was only one telephone company at one time, and they split up AT&T and made them into a whole bunch of different companies because they had a monopoly, basically, right? And they split them up because they got too big. Well, now what's happening to their cell phones? Anybody can produce a cell phone and sell cell phone services and sell data and credit, but you can do it, right? Anybody can set up a cell phone business. There are foreign competitors coming into the market and stuff, right? So all of a sudden there's lots of competition. They don't care about how big AT&T is anymore, huh? Right? It doesn't matter. Nobody has a landline anymore anywhere, of course, but when companies do. But AT&T is still in the phone business, but they're doing other stuff, aren't they? TV, right? Okay. So, right. All right, anyway. So companies can buy other companies. So how would this method work? It's going to be different for trading securities and available for sale short term. But available for sale short term is sort of the same whether it's short term or long term. And this is really pretty simple, okay? Let's do an investment. Let's say I invest, let's say there are 100,000 or 100 million or whatever you want shares outstanding, okay? Shares outstanding. And I buy 10% of them. And the price I pay, right, the market value when I buy, so that's the price I'm going to pay, is $10 per share, okay? And I pay cash. Let's record it. Give me a journal entry for that. What's the journal entry for the investment? I'll probably ask you to do this. I bet you anything I do. Credit cash. Okay? How much am I going to credit cash for? It's going to be 100,000 times 10%, which is 10,000 shares, and it's $10 a share. It's $100,000. Everybody got it? It's the number of shares, which is just a percentage times the shares outstanding, right, that you bought, times whatever the market price is at that time. Everybody good? So I would credit cash for $100,000. What do you want to debit? Okay, if it is a trading security, which means I'm going to do what?
Just sell it straight back.
I'm going to hold it for a very short period of time, right? Up to a few weeks, maybe. Maybe a day. Up to a few weeks. Got the idea? Okay, I'm going to debit what? Trading securities. I'm not kidding. It's that easy. What if it's an investment, but it's not in a trading security? It's an investment in an avail for sale short term. I'm going to hold it for more than a few weeks, but not more than a year, right? In between there somewhere. What would it be? Debit what? Whoops,
Available for
tried to do
sale.
trading security again, apologize. Available for sale, got it. Available for sale, investment in available for sale, or just call it available for sale, I don't care, right? There are a variety of names. Short term, right? Oh, that'd be 100,000, right guys? This would be 100,000, debit, it's an asset, right? It's an investment. And credit what? I don't want anybody to miss things like this. That'd be ridiculous, wouldn't it? Everybody agree? Guess what if it's long-term, what you do? You're going to hold it for more than a year. Okay, now I said there are a lot of things that you have to sort of keep straight here, but the journal entries are not hard once you realize what you're doing, huh? If you can identify it as being a trading security or available for sale short-term or long-term, is this easy or what? Okay, nothing to it. Okay, so that's the investment, okay? Everybody good? Now, what if you find out that this company that you own 10% of, what if you find out that they have, that they're going to, at the end of the year, the end of the year, the market value at the end of the year, what if you find out it's now $11 per share? But oh, by the way, during the year they pay dividends. And they pay dividends of $15,000 in total. Okay? This is the total they're paying. Oh, and also they report net income of $200,000 during the year. So you got that information about them, okay? Everybody see it? Now the market value is 11, dividends are 15,000, and net income is 200,000. Tell me what you want to do. At the end of the year, what would I like to do? Adjust the asset to, we're going to use the market value method, you guys. Adjust it to what? Market value. Okay, I gave 100,000 for that stock. What's it worth now? You own 10,000 shares that are now $11 a share. What's it worth? 110. Everybody agree? If you bought it now, it'd be 110. So what'll we do? The investment is in the books at 100,000. Whether it's a trading security, available for sale short-term, or available for sale long-term, right? If it's now worth 110, what do I need to do? Increase the account by what? 10. I'm not kidding. So what I would do for the change in market value, if it goes down, I'd have to credit the account, right? If it goes up, I'd increase the account, debit it. Change in market value. Okay, let's do that. In this case, it goes up, so I debit trading security for how much? 10 grand, you like that? What would I do over here for the available for sale? If it's a short term, debit available for sale, short term. How much? It's worth 110, 10,000. This is easy. What if it's long term? Debit available for sale long term for the 10,000. But now you got to know what the credit is, and here's where it's different, okay? Oh, by the way, if it went down in value, you credit it, right? Each one of those accounts. Everybody agree? It's pretty straightforward, isn't it? You know what? It is so much easier trying to teach you people now than it was when all those other folks were with us. Why? Because you're all thinking, you're all paying attention, you're all working your asses off from it. Wow. Don't you like your classes to be like that? I don't care if those folks leave or not. I'm sorry. You aren't superior people. You aren't smarter people. What are you doing? Working. It pays. Keep doing it. You know what's going to be nice when you're juniors and seniors? If you're in a rigorous major, everybody's doing that. Isn't that fun? You know what's going to happen when you go to work? Everybody's doing that. You want to work for Microsoft or some company you never heard of? You know why you never heard of the other companies?
Because they're not successful.
They're not successful. Because they don't have people at work. Not the same. Wow. Would you rather work in the corporate office as a Burger King or flipping burgers? Young Brands, they're really cool jobs over here at Young Brands. Really cool jobs. And then people put chicken in the deep fryer too. Same company. Wow. It's awful, isn't it? Places like Microsoft, there are only good jobs. And they don't have. Places like PricewaterhouseCoopers, there are only good jobs. Well, I don't know. Somebody has to be the janitor, I guess, but yeah, anyway, those aren't great. But probably pay better than being a janitor other places. Okay, what do you want to credit? What do you think this is? I held a stock and it went up in value. Gain. Yeah. But this is going to be, I like it, an unrealized gain. What do I mean by unrealized gain? And we're going to say gain on trading securities because that's what it is. It's $10,000. What's the deal, everybody? Unrealized. What does realized mean versus recognized? What does recognized mean? I told you guys this, and of course you don't know it because you don't know everything I ever said, right? How could you possibly do that? But what you want to try to do in your classes is know everything that the professor says after they say it, and then you got it for the test, the quiz, whatever, in your career. Yes, so you do that. And if you're listening really hard, when you go to work, that's what I want you to do. That's what this is all about for me. When you go to work, I want you to really be paying attention. You know what? When you go to a city council meeting, when you're deciding to vote, I want you to really pay attention, okay? I want you to know, I don't want you to watch those stupid campaign ads. I want you to read what the person had to say, what they really had to say. I want you to watch them when they're giving speeches that are substantive, right? That kind of stuff, right? So pay attention, really, okay? So now here's the deal. What does recognize mean?
You know it's there.
Yeah, you recognize it, see it, you're aware of it. But what's recognized mean in terms of financial reporting anything? You recorded it and put it on the balance sheet or income statement. What does that mean? How do you get things on a balance sheet or income statement? You recorded a journal entry. You recorded it. That's when you recognize it. I recognize revenue when I earn it, huh? That's the idea. I recognize expenses when I incur them. I recognize an asset when I acquire it. I recognize a liability when I borrow the money. Right, guys? That's recognized. What's realized? Realized is what? What is it? When you physically get the cash. Yeah, when you either receive the cash or give up the cash. It's cash. Realization is the cash flow. This is an unrealized gain. I'm going to recognize the gain on my income statement in this case, right? I'm going to recognize it. But is it realized yet? No, I didn't sell the stock. It's not realized. So why would you call it an unrealized gain? You didn't get the cash check. It's that simple. Now can you remember to call it unrealized gain seeing as you know you didn't get any cash? Yeah. Is that better than memorizing unrealized gain? Oh, yeah. You're going to know it. Okay? Do that with everything. Do that. I have no memory and I can do this stuff. How come? Because I can figure it out every single time. Right? I never did that in memory. I didn't bother you. How many of you do it? How many of you think I know your name? You guys already know I don't know anybody's name, right? I've got over 10,000 students in my career. Give me a break. I don't know the names. Not even close, but I never did. Doesn't matter what your name is, you'll tell me. How much money am I going to make by knowing your name? You know what? When you're doing a good job, I know who the hell you are. I'll have your resume. And I'll read it right before I go to the meeting where I talk about how wonderful you are. And I'll look up the grades I gave you. And I'll read what you have on your resume about a job and memory about everything you're doing and who you are and what you're about. And I'll remember some conversation I had with you when we were in this class and you struggled and trying to get it together and then you did and I meant help. That's what's valuable for you. You care about your name? Are we hanging out together or something? Even if we were, I wouldn't have to know your name. As long as you buy me a beer, it'd be fine. Okay, anyway, yeah. I do know my wife's name, you guys. I do, honest. And I know my kids' names and my grandkids and all that. That's about the limit of my memory. Okay, anyway. Guess where this unrealized gain goes? Because we think we're going to sell it really soon, where would you put this unrealized gain? On your income statement, because I think it's going to really happen. Everybody hear that? Now this was a political, so this one goes to the income statement. You need to know that. You're going to see it on the income statement. I know I haven't really sold the stock yet. I haven't. But I think it's going to happen because the price isn't going to change. The market value is not going to change before I sell it. That makes sense? Now, on these two, it's different. We're going to use this whole different category of equity. Oh no. I told you that there was, if you look at equity, what do we have in equity? Assets equals liabilities plus equity. What are the two types of equity I gave you so far? Contributed capital, common stock and preferred stock, and additional paid-in capital on both. You guys know this stuff, don't you? And then what else is there? Retained earnings. I'm sorry, kind of a little white lie. There's one other category. I didn't want to mess with you yet. It's called other comprehensive income. And that's where we put the stuff we don't know what to do with. That's not the official answer to the office. I'm not going to tell you that, but it's the truth. Okay? We put the stuff we don't know what to do with. This is one of those. It's a political compromise. We couldn't agree to put it on the income statement. Everybody loves the gains on their income statement, but what if it's a loss? What would you do if the stock value went down? On the trading security, I would debit unrealized loss and credit trading securities. All right? On the available for sale securities, it would be debited in the same thing. Okay? But it goes to other comprehensive income. I'm going to put the gains and losses into this equity account directly instead of getting the income statement with it. Does everybody follow that? This is way too high level for you, right? You just can't possibly absorb this stuff, right? Okay? If the author talks about it, it's what we're doing, right? Maybe that's why we put it in the appendix, because it kind of blows your mind, right? We have this other section where we put things we don't know what to do with. This is pretty good. We couldn't reach a compromise on what to do with it. By the way, when they started working on this Financial Accounting Standards Board statement, right, it was going to be all the short-term ones were going to be on the income statement. And all the long-term ones were going to be other comprehensive income. Couldn't get agreement on that. So what happened? It's only the ones you're going to hold for a short period of time to hit the income statement. Because people don't want those gains and losses on their income statement. Think about when the market, poor George Bush at the end of his presidency, the stock market went down by 50%, right? Probably had nothing to do with it, right? But if it goes down by 50%, what would have happened to every single company's balance sheet? What do you think that looked like in their income statement? Well, the balance sheet they did show it go down. What would have happened in their income statement? Would have had massive losses, right? So you didn't do that. You put the loss in other comprehensive income. What happens though, since Obama's been president, the market's gone back up, it's tripled from then, right? Oh, he's been president for 6 years, something like that, right? So, the market recovered and kept going, which is going really good. Unemployment still may be a problem, bit of a problem, at least for people unemployed. But the market's doing really strong, it's going crazy, right? Anyway, what about all those gains? They're in other comprehensive income too. Do you want to read the equity section and see other comprehensive income, what's going on with the company? Just for that one, yes. Guess what else is in there? Pension plans. We had these pension plans where people were promising pensions to their employees, and unions were negotiating pensions for the employees, and the company did not have to and did not put the money into any investments. So I have a huge liability. I promised my employees a whole bunch of money. Got the idea here? And I don't record it. And I don't set the money aside. What happens over time? These people start retiring. Their benefits are vesting, which means they have the right to them, right? Your workforce is aging, and you now owe them all these pensions, and you have not recorded them. So we need a huge credit to pension obligations. Huge. For a lot of companies, it was bigger than the retained earnings. Who owns the company now? When you credit the liability. And you effectively, if you ran it through the income statement, would have to debit retained earnings. There is no retained earnings. The company now belongs to the former employees. What a mess. Industries are like this. The trucking industry, most of those companies don't exist anymore. This was a huge scandal. And by the way, taxpayers guarantee these pensions of the companies that folded. We're paying for them. But we're only paying about 2/3 of the pension. So people thought they were going to get $2,000 a month for the rest of their life. They're getting 2/3 back. Got the idea? These people are angry. They negotiated for it, took lower wages. You get the idea? Yeah, so it's a huge scandal, and it's a big deal. You'll learn about this as you go through college. Okay, so anyway, and this stuff happens in societies, others too. Okay, so we've got this going on. The point is, where did we put the debit? We didn't want to go to retained earnings credit for a prior period adjustment, and we didn't want to go to an income statement account, run it through the income statement, and our earnings would be huge loss, you know, for the year you record. What do? We wanted to credit the liability. Where did we debit, you guys? Where do you think it is? Other comprehensive income. So you want to read other comprehensive income to see what's going on with the company, right? There might be a big number there. Could be getting the company. Could be a disaster. Could be positive too. Okay. Big increase in the stock prices. Another one that goes there is the translation gains and losses on foreign currency. And companies are doing business in a number of countries. That's where that goes. And that's because those are fluctuating all the time. That would probably be some stock. But we want to show the effect of it in the balance sheet. That's it. Okay? So this is way beyond where you're at, but what if this is the only accounting class you ever had in financial accounting? Do you think it's important to know that you really got to look at the equity statement and try to figure out what that stuff is, instead of just pretending it doesn't exist when you're making investments? Oh yeah, really important. Yes.
Now, do all gains and losses go on to other comprehensive income?
No, all gains or losses do not. Gains and losses go into the non-operating section on the income statement, right? And this trading security one, that's where it goes, that gain or loss. But the gains and losses on available for sale securities, yes, that's where they go. But how about when I sell the stock and I have a realized gain or loss? That is the income statement, right? You got the idea? So this is just for the unrealized gains and losses on the available for sale securities. So this is going to be called the same thing. It's either an unrealized gain or an unrealized loss, guys. It's a gain, obviously, if it goes up in value. It's a loss if it goes down. But that unrealized gain does not go on the income statement. It goes directly to the equity statement, right? And therefore directly to the balance sheet as other comprehensive income. Read this chapter carefully and sort of get the idea of this. By the way, if you weren't working hard now, could you possibly get this stuff? Oh, man. Yeah, you got to be into it, don't you? Okay, and you know what? What's really cool? This is exactly the same name. So it's handled the same way, okay? Unrealized gain or loss if it's a loss. Be a debit if it's a loss. And I know you guys know that. Other comprehensive income, 10,000. You know, by the way, you just call them unrealized gains and losses. Oh, this should be an unrealized gain on what? Seeing as it's available for sale security short term, what would you say? How about available for sale security short term? What if it's an available for sale security long term? How about call it an unrealized gain or loss on available for sale long term? That make sense? Everybody good? That's what it is, right? Okay. The main thing is this one hits the income statement. Both of these hit other comprehensive income. Okay? All right, let's do the next thing. Dividend was $15,000. How much dividend do you get if you own 10% of the company? Isn't that what I bought? Yeah. I own 10% of the company. 15,000 total dividends. What do I get? Yeah. Assume it's all common stock. Good man. I like that. Assume it's all common stock. 15,000 dividends. I own 10% of it. Or at least the common stock dividend is 15,000. How much do I get?
1,500.
1,500. Everybody can do that, right? So let's do it. What would that entry look like? I said 15,000. Remember that? You got it written down there? I said I own 10% of the company, so I'm going to get $1,500, aren't I? What's my journal entry going to look like, everybody? For both of them, right? It wouldn't be any different on either side. Debit cash for 1,500, was it? I said 15,000. And credit what? The debit's easy. It's the same over here for these. Okay, same for both of them. Okay? Everybody got the idea? I'm going to just call this because, you know, I'm taking what the market gives me. I don't have any control. I did not decide to pay myself a dividend. I only own 10% of the company. Somebody else decided to pay a dividend, right? The people who have more votes than I do decided to pay the dividend. You got the idea? Right? Okay? So I just treat it as dividend revenue or dividend income. We use the terms interchangeably. It's dividend revenue or dividend income. That's it. And I'm done. You like it? That's easy, isn't it? Okay? It's just like interest revenue. If somebody pays you interest, you debit cash and credit interest revenue. Everybody got it? Dividend revenue. Okay, there's one more thing, and you're going to really like this one. The other piece that I suggested we'd have, I wish we had a bigger board. How big a screen do we need? The length of the thing, I guess. What else do we need, you guys? The net income one. I did the change in market value. I did the dividends. Let's do the net income. Now, here's the deal. I am not running the company. I did not make the net income happen. I'm glad if they have a net income because probably my stock price will go up and I'll probably get a good dividend, right? I'd feel sad if they had a loss because then I probably won't get a dividend and the stock price will probably go down, right? So I certainly make more money because they have more income. Everybody agree with that? But I'm not making it happen, so guess what kind of journal entries I do when they generate net income? None. Right? I record my dividend income and I record the change in market value. That's the market value method. Everybody got it? Okay? This might be one you listen to again, huh? You might. Okay? I like that. And we'll do the review session too. We're going to have a review session on this sometime, whenever that is. Okay? So guess what for the net income or net loss? This is for the dividend, right? Guess what for the net income or net loss? No entry. Okay? For both of them. Same over here. Everybody happy? We're done with trading securities. Available for sales securities short term and available for sales securities long term. Yes?
So would that change if you own the majority?
Oh, yeah. If I own more than 20%, it'll change. And then it changes again if I own more than 50%. Okay? All right. You guys want to leave 5 minutes early? Is that what you're suggesting to me? No, give me the 5 minutes. You really want me to. Honest, you do. Well, maybe not really, but sort of you do. Let's see if a miracle happens and they give us another page. Of course they do. Okay? Anyway, so here's the deal. Let's do investments in affiliate. This ties to the other one. It's not bad, okay? It'll be, for the investment, it'll be debit investment in affiliate and credit cash. Let's say there were 100,000 shares, right? This time, let's buy 30% of it. How many shares am I going to buy? 30,000, right? $10 per share market value. What would I do? Debit investment in affiliate for how much? I own more than 20%, so it's an affiliate. 30,000 times $10 is 300,000. Everybody agree? And we'll do this again next time. Everybody got it? That's what you do, wouldn't you? By the way, guess what? If you own more than 50%, it'd be debit investment in subsidiary and the company's name next to it, and credit cash for whatever you paid for that. Okay. All right. What about if the market value goes up to $11? This is at the purchase date, right? This is at the end of the year when I do the financial statements, whenever I do the statements. Okay? What am I going to do, seeing as I am now using the equity method, right? Not the market value method. Because it's an affiliate, I'm going to use the equity method, which means I'm going to record my share of what happened to the company because I have an equity interest where I have significant influence. Okay? So it's significant influence, right? That's why we're doing this method. What's the deal, everybody? The market price goes up to $11 and I say, yay! And I make what? This is for the invest. What kind of an entry do you make? None. Change in market value, no entry. I'm not taking what the market gives me, I'm running the company. Everybody got the idea? That's the theory. No entry. Oh, all right. Not bad, huh? All right, let's say that they pay a dividend, and the dividend equals 15,000 still. Now how much dividend am I going to get, of course? 30% of it, 4,500. Okay, and let's say that their net income, what did I say it was before? It was 200,000. So they have net income of 200,000. How much of that net income do I get? What's my share if I have 30% of the company? What portion do I earn if I'm making 30% of the decisions? Is the way you could think about it, I suppose. 30% of it. How much is that? 60. Okay, so what I'm going to do is for the net income or net loss, I'm going to adjust my investment for my share of it. Oh, so here's for the net income or loss, whichever one you have, right? In this case, the income is positive, right? So 200,000 net income times the 30% ownership share is 60,000. And I am going to increase my investment in the affiliate here by 60,000. Okay? And here's what I'm going to call it. Equity interest in affiliate earnings. Something like that. There's all kinds of different terms for this. This is a relatively recent development in terms of how to account for things. Okay? Made changes to it. So it's something like equity interest in affiliate earnings. But what kind of an account is that? Income statement. I'm going to put it on my income statement. My share of the income is going to increase my net income. So I'm increasing my asset and I'm increasing my net income. Got it? What if it was a loss? Debit equity interest in loss from affiliate, right? And credit investment in affiliate. Goes down, right? If they make money, my investment goes up. If they lose money, my investment goes down by my share of it, right? This is where I have significant influence. One other thing, the dividend. Now, I decided to pay myself the dividend. I have a 30% vote here. I help decide to give myself a dividend. If you decide to take money out of your bank account, does that give you income or does that just reduce your bank account? Reduces your bank account. That's the way to think about this, right? We increase our investment by earning, right, the net income. We decrease our investment when we pay ourselves a dividend, don't we? So this is totally different than we were doing with trading in a bill for sale, isn't it? Totally different. You got the distinction here? Okay, and we'll do consolidation differently. We'll do that next time. Okay, so what we do is we debit cash. How much cash did we say we got? 30% of the 15, right, guys? 30% of the 15,000. How much? 4,500. And what do you credit for 4,500? Not dividend revenue. We recorded the income when they earned the income. We're not going to record it again when they gave us the dividend. We are paying back some of our investment to ourselves. Make sense? Credit investment in affiliate. So what you can see happening here, and you can put the company name, investment in affiliate in the company name if you want, or just investment in affiliates and put them all together if you got a bunch of them. Look what's happening. Here's 300,000 goes into the investment. I increased it by 60 for my income. It's up to 360, and I reduced it for 4,500, right? So now it's 355.5, right? Based on what's happening to the investment. Got it? We don't worry about what the market value is. Of course, we like it going up. You know, we don't record that. Everybody see the difference between those? By the way, is it hard to keep your head into something for a whole 15 minutes? 52 minutes. Yeah, it is, isn't it? Gotta work at it, though. Gotta get through your duties. That's why I like these 50-minute classes better for section 5. We'd be in trouble for 75. You'd be done now and then you sit there for another 20 minutes. Get that done. I don't like having to work on Friday. No one. I'd rather just work Monday, Wednesday, stay home. Nah, have to work anyway on something. It's fine. See you guys. Have a good weekend and do a lot of work, okay? All right, you too. Do a lot of work? Thanks. I will. Let's go.